Komenda.
Yeah.
Where would you situate Komenda in this conversation? Is it a 1D, 1F? Is it a government company? What is it?
Yeah, so Komenda was inherited by our government in 2017.
But it's an old, it's an Nkrumah factory.
Yes.
Or it's a Buzia factory.
It was a state enterprise that was established
to produce sugar.
To produce sugar for the local market, hopefully for the export market. Now, it's had a long history. Checks, balances, somehow did not provide the right environment for them to survive over the years. And also the old model of a state enterprise did not help them. So fast forward, when the NDC came into office, they took a loan of over $35 billion to try and retool the factory. Now, this retooling exercise was completed around May, June 2016, and it was commissioned. Now, immediately it was commissioned, it stopped production. That is, after the production test run, they could not sustain production for a number of reasons. One, because in the planning process for the factory, there was no provision for the supply of sugarcane on a sustainable basis. I'm talking about sustainable basis. If you go and harvest
the sugarcane, the fruit.
Yes, the sugarcane. Yeah. If you go and harvest 1 ton, 2 tons of sugarcane and use it to commission a plant, that does not guarantee the continuous working on the years. So that was the first challenge. The second challenge was that at the time that it was commissioned, regrettably, a significant number of components that would have allowed it to work properly were not installed. So when we took over, we did a technical audit and realized that there were all these significant challenges. But we also wanted to give the benefit of the doubt to the previous government. So we went through the process of understanding where the company was. And we realized that they had made an effort to attract an investor, a strategic investor, to run and manage the factory. So that's fine. We are a responsible government. If it is working, why not? If it is not working and you have an investor, then, I mean, we would still work with the investor. But when we invited that strategic investor that had gone through the process and had been offered Komenda to, as it were, to own and manage, they were no longer interested in taking up that offer because according to them, the amount that they originally bid for taking over the factory, and after the bid offer and the negotiations, they realized that the true value of the factory was significantly below the book value.
What they had been told.
What they had been told, So they refused the offer to continue. So subsequent to that, we also made efforts to get some new strategic investors. The unfortunate thing was that every other new investor that was interested in taking over Komenda were putting the value of the company at around 12 to 20 million US dollars. Any other investor that was quoting at the time of the offer more than 20 million US dollars later on came back to indicate that the factory was overvalued, and so they were not interested. So we've gone back and forth trying to find a strategic investor. And Yoko decided to undertake a forensic audit of the factory because of all these, challenges associated with undervaluation and things like that. And the initial report from the forensic audit puts the value of the company at around $60 million as against the book value of $35 million. So that has been the fundamental reason why it has been difficult to attract any strategic investor. Anybody who comes in initially is excited. They do their own audit and realize that the value is less than what is posted in the books. So we took a decision after struggling to find a strategic investor to allow the management, board and management of the company as a commercial entity, because it's a private company.
But it's 100% government owned?
Government owned,
okay.
But it's a private company. So we agreed with the management and the board to take over the management of the company as a 1D1F project and use the incentives now to retool and recapitalize the company so that we can at least continue to support the Komenda, the people of Komenda. So right now, this process is about 98% complete, and hopefully by the end of July, we'll do the production test run, and then.
So when will it be back on stream?
So anytime after, let's say, end of July, beginning of August, it will become operational again.
And Ghanaians will get sugar from Komenda?
Yes, and after that.
But do you have the sugar cane now?
Well, so we'll do a combination where, of course, it takes time to grow the cane. So in the interim, we will start with some crushing.
What is crushing?
Crushing of sugar cane. That's using sugar cane.
The sugar cane you have now?
The sugar cane that we are going to buy from farmers
okay.
around, yes. And then complement that with imported raw sugar. So
raw sugar?
Raw sugar, imported raw sugar.
What is raw sugar?
Yeah, raw sugar is raw sugar. I mean, that
so
has
the one
not been,
we have...
that has not been, yes, no, raw sugar has not gone through the refinery process. So it's the primary stage of crushing.
But it cannot be eaten?
Sugar cane. No.
It cannot be eaten?
No, it has to go through the refinery process.
But it's cheaper to import that one than to import finished sugar?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you import that one, Komenda will refine it, and then you sell it locally?
Yes, you sell it locally.
Cheaper than what will be imported?
But it will be, the main thrust is to now ensure that we have a plantation. We will start buying from our growers. That process is already underway. And then start crushing, and then complement it with imported raw sugar.
When will you be able to say that you have cane in Ghana that is feeding the factory?
So we are now acquiring 20,000 acres of land to start the plantation, so that we'll have a sustainable supply of sugar cane.
When will that come round? Because the cane takes a while to grow.
Yes, so whilst that is going on between 2 years and 2.5 years, we will still buy from outgrowers.
But the factory will be operational. It will employ people.
Yes, that is, for us, that is our interest, to make sure that what we inherited as a white elephant, that we'll be able now to make it operational, and then reduce the importation of sugar. That is our major thrust. As to how we reconcile the figures, how come factory that is valued at over $35 million is significantly lower in value, right from commissioning.
Will it employ a lot of people? When people hear factory, they think it will employ 100 people, 200 people.
Yes.
These days, technology has come in. Will it employ a lot of people?
Well, but you realize that for agro-processing, the jobs that are generated are not just what we call the direct factory jobs, but the indirect jobs. And then also, by extension, the plantation or farming operations. The jobs come from the farming operations. So for Kofi, for Komenda, for all these other agro-processing jobs, that is what. But Paul, I think let's get back on track.